just to start off with, the boss said you're back in contention for this weekend. Just how are you feeling ahead of the game?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I trained for the first time with the team on Saturday, and then I trained yesterday and today, and no, I feel good. So yeah, that was obviously, once I picked up the injury, the main focus was to get back for the final and put myself in contention. So that's all I can do.
Bad time for you to get the injury personally, wasn't it? Especially with yourself and Hector Bellerin playing so well. Just what's that competition for the right wing back role been like over the past few weeks?
Yeah, obviously Hector's, I guess he's more naturally suited to sort of the right back role. But since the wing back situation has come into play, that's played into my hands as well and to my favour. So I think both of us are capable of playing the position. And obviously, as you said, yeah, it was a bad time for me to pick up the injury coming into the end of the season, then obviously the final. But these things happen in football, and since Hector's been playing again, he's been playing really well. He got 2 assists away at Stoke and he chipped in with a goal on the weekend, so he's done really well, and we know he's more than capable of playing in that role and performing really well. And that always obviously makes competition from places tough, but that's what it's like when you're at a top club. So no, as long as both of us can play as well as we can when we're getting the opportunities, that's the best thing for the team.
Just finally from me, you've played in every round of this season's FA Cup, you set up Nacho Monreal's equaliser in the semi-final. Just how pleased are you with your contribution to this cup run?
Yes, obviously it's nice to contribute when you make it to the final, and obviously if you manage to win the trophy and you look back at your contribution, it's always nice to have played a big role, of course. So no, that's what I've obviously tried to do in every game that I've played. Right from the start of the tournament, because it's a cup that you want to win, and to put ourselves in the final is what we needed to do and what we wanted to do and what we set out to do at the start of the year. So it's nice to be able to look back and say I've contributed to that, but it'd be much nicer to contribute to hopefully winning it.
Alex, I know you've been asked a lot about playing in the middle, and that's where your long-term vision and all that. I mean, have you enjoyed playing out wide in this system?
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously played more out wide in my career at Arsenal over the years, and I don't think this role's too dissimilar, because even when we're asked to play right wing, we're still expected to get back and defend against your fullback. And I think the way that the fullbacks play nowadays, there's a lot of games I can think where the fullbacks march right on and you almost end up playing a wing back role at times. So I think it's not too dissimilar to what I've been doing over the years, and I think it gives me a different challenge as well, and a slightly different focus, and I've really enjoyed it in the short space of time I've played it. So yeah.
Jack Wilshere, when he was converted to a holding midfielder for a while, he talked about watching videos of Pirlo and Mascherano. Have you done anything similar with wing backs?
Yeah, obviously when I've watched teams that play with the 5 at the back and the wing backs, I've looked at their starting positions, more so starting positions and positions out of possession, because that comes a little bit more unnatural to me. I think when I get the ball, I think over the years I've learnt to take people on and bring that side of my game out. So I haven't really watched too many people doing that stuff. It's been more trying to learn the out of possession roles from players that play it week in, week out and have done it for a number of years.
Who are they? Who are the ones you've watched?
I take note of anyone when they play. Tottenham play with that formation, Chelsea have played with that formation. There's a lot of teams that have played with that formation, so I watch all the fullbacks, the left back and the right back. There's no one in particular that will spring to mind. When you watch, I would say, Dani Alves recently, they might not play the 5 at the back, I don't think, but the way he plays, he marches on and he adds a lot, attacking obviously as well as his defensive play. So people like that you watch and you learn from them.
Alex, you've had bad luck with injuries towards the end of the season. You missed the 2014 Cup final, of course. 2015 you got injured, albeit you came back, but right at the end, and you weren't able to force your way into the starting team for the 2015 final. How much has that sort of been in your mind when you got injured at the end of this season?
Yeah, it's a bit of a trend, isn't it? It was when it sort of happened again, I thought, oh no, here we go again. But yeah, it was disappointing for the last few years to pick up injuries so close to the end of the season, and when push comes to shove, sort of get left out for whatever reason. It's obviously not ideal, but that's what we deal with week in, week out. The manager has tough decisions to make, and when you pick up injuries, you put yourself sort of to the bottom of the pile for a bit, and you have to work your way back up. and that's what's happened in recent years. And you know, when I picked up this injury, I tried to attack the ground, run in as quick as I could, and set out a plan that gave me the best opportunity to put myself in contention. You know, I've carried that out, and I spoke to the manager about my return to play, and he was happy with it. So you know, that's all I could do. I'm at this place now, and I've got myself back in contention. You know, squad selection, that's completely down to him, and I respect whatever decision he makes.
Despite that injury, though, you've played more games this season than you have in your career. Did you feel you benefited from that, and as a result become a better player?
Yeah, it's been nice. It's obviously key to get momentum going, and you know, when you're picking up injuries here and there and you stop-start, it can be hard with fitness to be at your best. So that's been one of the main things I've been happy with this season, is just being available for most of the games in all competitions. So that's definitely a step forward for me in my career. It's something that I've been working towards ever since I've started picking up injuries since my big knee injury. So it is a step forward to me, and I'm happy that it's gone that way this season. But I guess the challenge is for the rest of your career to make sure you maintain that.
And in terms of the rest of your career, you know, how clear is your future in terms of next season?
I'm not here to talk about my future at all. I'm here to talk about the FA Cup final, so I'll leave that there.
But you think it will be with Arsenal? Or?
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the final, so I won't be talking about that today.
Will the final dictate, though, the way you feel about the season? I mean, say you win the FA Cup, does that make it a good season, an acceptable season, or will it be disappointing?
It makes it a better season for sure. You know, the season's been an odd one, and you know, the way, if you look at the table now, I think we finished on 75 points. In other years that might have left us in different situations, but times change and you've got to move forward with the other top teams, and we've failed to do that in the league ultimately this year. That's why we missed out on top four. But you know, we've given ourselves an opportunity to win a trophy, and when you're in football, winning trophies is what it's all about. So it will obviously be a bonus to the season, and to finish on a more positive note. There'll obviously always be that thing where we wanted to finish higher up the league. There's no doubt in that, and we can't hide from that, and we need to own up to that. But it's a big trophy, and it's one that we want to win, and it will definitely boost morale going into next season.
Longer term, Alex, is that central midfield the area the manager said he sees you there longer term? Is that where you still, or is what's happened in the last few weeks changed how you look at it?
I don't know. Yeah, I think I've spoke to the manager a few times, and that's where he says he sees me ending up. And on a personal level, you know, I really enjoy playing the midfield, and the time I played it there this year, I enjoyed it and thought, you know, this is where I want to be able to play moving forward. So yeah, I think maybe that is my main ambition, to end up playing there. But I think it's a tricky one to nail me down to one position still, because of my attributes. Sort of they do go hand in hand with playing out wide as well, and I think it just depends what the best fit for the team is, and myself at the time, as to where I play. But I think long term, you know, I'd hope I'd end up playing more central.
Can you describe how you felt in the 2014 final when you were out, and the 2015 final when you came on at the end? Did it change the experience at all?
The 2014 final, I think I even missed out on being involved and on the bench, and you know, I was really upset and gutted about that, because I'd played a big role moving into the final and throughout the whole competition. So yeah, I was really disappointed to miss out. But I think, you know, once the game started, I was on the bench and right in amongst the boys still, and once the game started, we went 2-0 down quite early on, or we went 2-0 down, and then to bring it back, you know, all sort of disappointing feelings went out the window. You know, to see my teammates do what they did on the day and come back to win Arsenal a trophy, that's all we wanted to do, and I think that obviously ended a big trophy drought. So I think all those feelings went completely out the window for me, and I was as excited as if I'd scored the winning goal like Aaron. You know, so it's obviously disappointing when you miss out, but when you're involved in a team all the way through the year and you get to share winning at the end of it, sort of those feelings go out the window, and you're just over the moon and happy. And obviously the 2015 final, I think I played 5 minutes, and I came on it right at the end, and the game was already done. But just to come on and be involved was a really nice moment for me. Obviously missing out completely in the year before, so that was a nice moment. Obviously winning it again, that's all that I was there for.
How much of a motivation is it to be there, you know, at the start of the national anthem and all that stuff?
Obviously that's what I'd love to do. I'd love to start the game and play the whole game. But as I said, you know, team selection's tough. Hector's been doing really well. Who knows where, you know, I could play elsewhere. I'm not sure, and that's up to the boss. But you know, as long as the team that goes out there puts in everything and gets the right end result, I'll be just as happy as every single other Arsenal fan and player in the stadium and around the world.
Alex,
how key to change into that back three has this recent run of form been, and should it come in a bit earlier? And also, this is a potential to be a history-making 7th win for your manager, Arsene Wenger. How much does that dressing room want that to happen, and what influence has he had on your career?
There's a lot of questions there, aren't there? The change of formation, I think it came at a good time because it gave us all a new challenge, and it was a time when we were struggling and we were conceding goals. So I think at that point it shored us up a little bit more, putting 3 at the back, and it gave teams a different challenge. So I think over the years we've always played in a certain formation in a certain way, and I think teams, you know, they obviously get better at learning how to deal with us. So when we changed the formation, I think that gave them something new to think about, and the results started coming as well. So I guess you have to say it helped us at that time, and then moving forward, I think there's been times where we've started with the 5 at the back and we've had to go to the 4 and change it halfway through the game, and that's worked as well. So I'm not sure, you know, if this is the formation that Arsenal need to go with from now on. But it's good that, you know, we've got a different way of playing and you know, a different way of challenging teams. And I think it, as you said, it came at a good time. The results started coming, so we've kept with it. And I think we've been playing reasonably well with it in some games and very well in other games. And ultimately, it's the results that make the difference, and they've been going well. So, you know, it's credit to the manager for doing that. And what was the other one again?
Arsenal will go for a record 7th FA Cup title, making him the most successful manager in FA Cup history. What influence have you had on your career, and how much does the dressing room, after all the pressure you've been under, want to deliver that? Obviously,
first and foremost, he's been a massive influence for my career. You know, he took me from League One into a massive club in the Premier League and Champions League, and you know that changed my career and my future ultimately. So, in that sense, he's been a massive influence for me in helping me through my years at Arsenal, just as he has many players in this squad and players before this squad. So, you know, we all respect our manager massively, and we want to give him the win just as much as we want to give the fans the win. And I think that's the most important thing. It's, you know, it's Arsenal Football Club. You know, everyone here wants to win, and obviously the league form's not allowed us to do that, and it's not been good enough in that sense. And but we find ourselves in a final with an opportunity to do that, so we want to deliver it for the manager, for ourselves, and ultimately for the club and for the fans as well. So, you know, all of those things go hand in hand. You know, we're there to win for all of our sakes.
Would you like him to have a new contract?
I'm not going to speak about that. That's nothing to do with me. And you know, I'm here to talk about the FA Cup final. So yeah.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks,
mate.
Cheers, guys.
Very good.